As a union steward, one of your critical responsibilities is the effective handling of grievances. Your approach to grievance handling would depend upon the issue, the people involved, the contract, the overall relationship between the employer and the Teamsters local union, and your relationship with the supervisor. Although grievance handling is more of an art than a science, you will find that a systematic approach greatly improves your effectiveness. This approach means listening, documenting, and investigating the problem before proceeding with the grievance. Thoroughly preparing for a meeting with management about a potential issue or grievance increases your likelihood of winning. This Teamster training DVD illustrates both the right way and the wrong way to represent members, meet with an immediate supervisor, and handle a potential grievance. In this first scene, a union member has just been disciplined again. The discipline is for failing to resupply a packing machine. He brings the problem to his steward. Let's see how the steward handles it.
Ed, look at this write-up I got. I'm on line over there doing my job. They got me running 2 machines now. I can't be loading bags on both machines when I got a problem with my first machine. I'm trying to adjust both machines. First machine's not working. Now I get this write-up says I'm going to be discharged if this keeps happening.
Carson, that's real bad. I don't know what's the matter with management.
Management? It's not just management. I've had the mechanics over several times. They haven't fixed the problem yet.
Don't get on the mechanics back. It's not their fault.
What, I'm going to be the scapegoat for this?
You shouldn't be. That's not fair. It's not fair to you at all.
I want to talk to management. Take me to the office. We're going to get this straightened out today.
I don't know about that, John. I mean, we have to call a business agent to handle this type of problem.
Business agent? We called him a week ago. It's still on my record. He hasn't done a thing for us. Now they want to discharge me. Let's talk to management.
It's not my fault the business agent didn't show up last week. I'm the shop steward. I'm supposed to call him. Let me call the business agent.
I pay union dues. Is the union going to represent me or not?
Sure, of course we will. We'll take it all the way to arbitration if we have to.
I want to talk to management. We're going to get this taken care of today.
Okay, well, let's go call the business agent then.
How effectively did the union steward handle the problem? What should he have done differently? The union steward should have 2 goals in this situation. First, make sure the worker knows the union cares about the problem and the member. Second, begin investigating the problem by obtaining as much information from the worker about the problem. This will require the principles of active listening and the 5 W's of grievance investigation, which requires asking the questions necessary to find out the who, what, when, where, and why of what happened. Our next scene involves a new steward in the department. She is aggressive, but has never filed a grievance. The old steward had the reputation of being too close to the company. The new steward notices a safety problem and immediately heads to the supervisor's office to complain.
Brent, we need to talk. We need to talk right now.
What do you want? You don't just come bursting into my office.
I want a minute of your time.
Okay, what's your problem?
We have a health and safety problem. The chain guards are off the insert machine.
So?
So we've been through this before. It's a health and safety problem.
You're talking to the wrong guy. Your operators are the ones leaving them off the machines.
Here we go again. The last time we left them off the machines, we were written up. It's a health and safety problem, and someone is going to get hurt.
Listen, Maria, we allowed them to leave them off the machines to make it easier for them to take care of jam-ups. What do you want me to do?
Easier? Easier for who? Easier for you? Easier for management? This is a violation of our contract. It's a health and safety issue, and if you don't do something about it, I'm going to go out there and shut those machines down.
Listen, Maria, don't come in here threatening me with this kind of stuff. I don't have time for this.
This is not a threat, Brett. It is what it is.
What do you call it then?
I'm going to call OSHA. OSHA will come in here and take care of it since you won't.
You're going to call OSHA?
That's what I said. I'm going to call OSHA.
Maria, I'll tell you what you're going to do. I'll tell you what to do. You stop wasting my time. You keep your nose out of my business. You get out of here, and you get back to work.
I'm not going anywhere, Brett.
Come on, Maria. Let's go.
How effectively did the steward handle the problem? What could she have done differently? In this critical safety situation, the steward is correct. The company is violating the contract. The company's responsibility is to make sure the equipment is operated safely. but the steward overreacts and is ineffective. Remember, the steward's job is to handle the situation in a way that solves the problem and maintains an effective working relationship with the supervisor. In our next scene, there is a problem with who should have worked 2 hours of overtime at the end of yesterday's shift. One of the higher seniority workers in the maintenance department thinks he should have worked the overtime and brings the problem to his steward.
Okay, Alan, let's make sure I've got this right. There were 2 hours of overtime to be worked on your shift last night.
Yes, it was.
And you were the most senior employee on that shift?
Yes, I am.
Okay, and it was Anderson Sparky that worked?
Sparky Anderson worked, yes.
Okay, and who's the supervisor that's assigned there?
The new guy, Roger Payton.
I haven't met him yet. I've been on vacation.
You're in for a treat.
Okay, so why didn't Peyton assign you the overtime?
Well, he said he couldn't find me.
And where were you?
I was in the restroom for cleanup.
Okay, so if he'd gone a few extra steps, he would have found you?
Yes, he could have.
Yeah, you can tell Peyton's new.
Yes.
Okay, Alan, I think that will do it. I'll do some investigation. I'll talk with Peyton, and I'll get back to you tomorrow morning at the beginning of your shift. What time you guys scheduled to come in?
I clock in at 8 o'clock.
Okay, so if I'm here 7:30, 7:45, can I get you?
Yeah, I'll be here.
Okay, I'll see you then.
All right.
Before filing a grievance, she needs to get the supervisor's side of the story.
I've been on vacation, so I missed your arrival.
I've been here for 2 weeks. Is there something I can do for you?
Actually, there is. I'm investigating a possible overtime bypass in the sanitation department, and I need to ask you a couple of questions.
Who are you investigating for?
Alan Whitaker.
Oh, yeah, I know Alan.
Okay. Well, was there overtime available in the sanitation department last night?
Yeah, there was.
And about how much?
About 2 hours.
Okay, and who made that overtime decision?
Well, I did.
And who did you assign that to?
A maintenance man by the name of Anderson.
That would be Sparky, I believe. And how did you select Sparky for that overtime?
Well, Sparky was the oldest qualified maintenance man that I could find.
And did you offer that overtime to anyone else, including Alan?
Well, I did go looking for Alan. I looked on the line and I looked in the break room.
I spoke with Alan this morning, and he was in the bathroom, which is about 4 steps off the break room.
It's not my job to go looking for people. They should be on the line where they're assigned.
Now, if you'd spoken with your foreman, or maybe if you've been here a couple months, you would have known that that's the obvious place to go for overtime. They always look there for overtime. Okay, Roger, I'm going to need a copy of the seniority list you used last night, and also a copy of the time cards for Sparky and Alan.
Well, I'll tell you, I can give you the seniority sheets, but I can't give you these copies of the logs. I can have copies made for you, but I can't give you these.
Would you have any objection if I go to the personnel department to get them?
You can do what you want, but you'd be wasting your time.
Well, why would you say that?
Whitaker wasn't qualified to do the job anyway.
What makes you say Alan's not qualified?
Well, according to the logs that I have, he's never done it by himself.
We've had problems with your log sheets. Your predecessor, Winston, he was a good guy. He was great at production. He was great at scheduling, but his weak point was his paperwork. We've had numerous problems with the paperwork, and I think you're going to find out that that's what happened last night.
Well, that's your opinion. I mean, I have to use the information that's available to me.
Well, what I think you're going to find out is that your information is incomplete and not accurate. And when you get down to the bottom of this, may I have a copy of the log sheet you used? Along with the other two.
Well, I'll tell you, I'll give you a couple of the seniority sheets. That's here. These are the log sheets, but I can't let you have them. I can have copies of them made for you.
Okay, well, I can come back this afternoon on my last break.
What time would that be?
About 4:30.
Okay, I can have them ready by then.
Okay, and I'll wait around if I have to, because I need them before I leave today.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
The steward meets with the worker the following day to discuss what her investigation has turned up and what they are going to do next.
Okay, Alan, Peyton says he couldn't find you, that you weren't available. So let's go over this one more time.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Now, first, you were available for overtime.
Yes, I was here.
Okay, and you would have taken the overtime.
Yes, I would have.
Okay, and you were in the bathroom at the end of your shift?
Yes.
And so if he had taken just a couple more steps, he would have located you.
He would have found me.
All right, no hassles. Now, you were qualified to clean that divider.
Oh, yes, I am, Kathy.
All right, and you've done it by yourself.
Kathy, yes, I have.
All right, and do we have any witnesses? Has anybody seen you do it?
Well, yes. About 3 weeks ago, I'm sure Kirk saw me. And Tim Keller, the foreman on second shift, he's the one that taught me how to break the machine down.
Okay, so you've done this on second shift.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, the problem is Peyton's going by the old personnel files, and we know that Winston didn't keep them up.
Yeah.
So I have the personnel files for you and Anderson, and I've got the seniority list that Peyton is going by. And now if Kelleher verifies what you've said, then we've got a grievance. This is a direct violation of Section 4, Paragraph A. Overtime will be offered to the most senior employee who is qualified to perform the job.
All right.
So I'm going to make an appointment with Peyton tomorrow, and I'm going to try to get you off at about 10:30. So where are you going to be? What area are you going to be in?
I'll be in my normal area.
Okay, so I just want to caution you. I want you to be cool. This guy is new and he's really defensive.
Okay.
So we've got to break him in,
We'll do that.
okay? Now, if you tend to be hot-headed, you just tap me on the shoulder and we'll take a walk, okay?
Okay.
All right, now let me do the talking,
All right.
okay? All right, well, I'll see you tomorrow.
All right.
Okay.
Let's review what the steward has done to this point. She has interviewed witnesses who had information about the issue, kept detailed notes, obtained copies of relevant records, reviewed her documentation, and discussed the case with the worker. Based on the results of her investigation, the steward decides to grieve the matter and schedules a first step meeting with the supervisor. She is prepared to outline her presentation and can anticipate management's argument. Lastly, she explains to the worker what to expect in the first step meeting and what his role will be. The steward and the worker are now ready for the first step oral presentation of the grievance. They meet with the supervisor in his office. Let's see what happens.
Hello, Roger.
Hello, Kathy.
And you know Alan.
I know Alan. Yep.
Hey, Roger.
Please. Sit. What can I do for you?
Well, we're here on an overtime bypass for Alan. Roger, this is simple. I don't think we even need to write this up. Now, due to the poor records you inherited when you walked through that door, you had no way of knowing that Alan was qualified to do this work and has cleaned that divider by himself before.
I agree with you, Kathy. There's no reason to write this up. In fact, there's no reason for you to be here.
Well, the point is, Roger, he was the most qualified senior employee on the shift that night. And with a couple of steps, you would have found him. And his records are not a correct reflection of his ability or his performance. Alan was qualified, and he has been all along. Now, if you talk to your own lead, if you talk to Tim Kelleher, who's the lead on second shift, then Tim's the one that trained him, and he's the one that assigned him to clean the divider by himself. So with a little bit of conversation on your part with your own lead, we can get this taken care of in a couple seconds.
Yeah, I'm not worried what they're going to tell me. I want to know where you were at.
Well, look, Roger, we've already established that he was in the bathroom. So now he was on routine cleanup, which all of our workers have done in the past. And if you waited a couple minutes, you would have come across him.
I don't have time to wait. I don't have time to go looking for people. I have a plant to run. You know, people should be where they're assigned.
I think if you'd been here a couple months longer, you would have realized that this is routine. That if someone goes looking for overtime and they can't find that person, then they look in the bathroom. That's the obvious place to go. And if you had done that, you would have found him.
Alan, are you telling me that you're qualified?
Roger, yes I am.
How long have you been qualified?
About 2 months.
Yeah, see, these records don't indicate that. These records don't indicate that you've done it by yourself.
Roger, that's the problem. Now, that's what we're trying to say, is that the records are not a direct reflection of his training or what he's done.
Yeah.
Now, if you would talk to your own lead, you'd find that out.
Alan, I'll tell you what we'll do. If you think these records are wrong, you and I will go out there right now, break down that divider, and if you do it to my satisfaction, I'll see that you're considered for overtime in the future.
No way, Roger. This is totally unacceptable. Now, you're talking about the future. Alan is qualified now. Now, he's been trained. He knows he's done it by himself. He should have worked last night. He was most senior. He deserved the overtime work. He deserves the pay. And you should pay him the lost time.
But the records don't indicate that he's qualified, and I'm giving him the opportunity now to prove that he is.
But he has been qualified, and if you talk to your own lead, the man that trained him and taught him to do it by himself, you'd know that.
Yeah, but they're not responsible for these records.
Okay. There's no use in wasting any more of my time or your time. Are you saying that you're going to deny this grievance based on his inability to do the job?
That's right. He's not qualified.
Okay, Roger, you've left us with no other choice but to file this grievance, because you're in direct violation of Section 4, Paragraph A, which specifically says that overtime will be offered to the most senior employee who's qualified to perform the work. Alan's qualified. He was qualified, and he deserves to be paid for the overtime. So I'm going to go ahead, proceed with the formal grievance, and I'll be writing it up, and I'll have it on your desk before I leave today at 5 o'clock.
Kathy, you can do what you want with the grievance. I'm not paying him.
Okay, Roger, you've left us no choice.
As you can see, handling a grievance properly is a real challenge and not necessarily resolved within the first step. In the case you just observed, what did the steward do that was right in handling this grievance? Here are some questions to consider. Was the steward prepared? Did the steward take and keep control of the meeting? What was the tone of the meeting? Did the steward state the Teamster's position clearly? Were the steward's arguments effective? Did the steward manage the member? Did the steward stick to the point, or was she sidetracked? Did the steward respond to management's arguments effectively? What techniques of persuasion or settlement did the steward use? Do you think the steward handled the meeting effectively? The test of whether a steward handles a grievance effectively is not always whether it is resolved to the local union's satisfaction at the first step meeting. Sometimes a grievance is taken through all steps before it is resolved. As a Teamster steward, you must be prepared for every possibility. Understanding and using the principles we discussed in this DVD will assist Teamster members. And that is what the grievance process is all about.